Hi there. I wanted to share 7 ways that you can deal with tough times. We were on vacation and my husband, just something didn't seem right, and we ended up finding out that he had a serious illness. And so we were at the hospital. He got rushed to a larger hospital, and then the following day had serious surgery. And so everything has been shifted since then. So I want to talk to you today about 7 ways that you can handle when life really shifts and changes, because I've learned a lot and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned. So first of all, I want to tell you that caregiving is hard work. So if you're caregiving for anybody, whether it's somebody who is sick, whether you're a mom, whether you have an elderly parent that you're taking care of, no matter what it is a lot of hard work, right? And so we need to really claim that. And I had a woman actually at a cancer meeting tell me that actually the statistics show that caregiving is so stressful. It's even more stressful than being the person that's sick, because all the attention is on the person who is sick and the caregiver has to support them. And really, people don't really recognize all the contribution that you're doing and how hard it can be. So let's just claim that right off the bat. Caregiving is hard work, and you are doing incredible work as a caregiver. So that's number 1. Number 2, balance suffering with joy. Now, when we're in tough times, there's plenty of suffering. We know that every day can be so tough, and it could be so difficult to even wake up some days, because you're doing this, you're doing that, you're advocating for your loved one, you're taking care of meals, you're doing all these things that need to be done. And there is plenty of suffering, but I want to tell you, it is so important that you intentionally balance out the suffering with joy. And so when I learned that lesson, when I felt like I was it was like tidal waves and things were coming up and down. And so when I felt like I was starting to go like this, I would think about what I could do that would bring me joy, whether it was call a friend, whether it was take a bath, whether it was take a walk, whether it was take some pictures. Anything that brought me joy, I tried to reconnect with that and intentionally balance out the suffering with joy. And the more suffering there was, I had to think about how intentional I could be to add more joy. So that's number 2, balance suffering with joy. Number 3, let your emotions flow. So have them come up, deal with them, and then go. So what ends up happening is oftentimes we have all these emotions and we bottle them up and we push them down, push them down, push them down. That's not good. It's going to squeeze out somewhere. And so the way that you can deal with them effectively is that you could go ahead and let your emotions come out. So whether it's crying out of frustration or anger or a mixture of 100 emotions, or whether it's singing songs. I was listening to Joyce Meyer the other day, and she talked about how important it was, and in the Psalms, David sang songs of, how could you abandon me, and what am I supposed to do now, and can I trust you, and all these things. And so I think that that's wonderful, because when you give voice to whatever it is that you're feeling, you can let it out, let it up, and let it out. And then also there's tapping. I don't know if you've ever heard about tapping, but that is giving voice to your emotions and claiming them and then dealing with them and letting them go. So that's number 3, let emotions flow and go. Number 4, I have realized that God is so good and God's people are amazing. I tell you what, this has been an amazing journey. At first, I'm the one who's the giver. So at first I was a little uncomfortable with receiving, but once I got used to it and the flow started happening, oh my gosh, friends helped with meals. Friends helped decorate my house. Friends on our anniversary brought us a beautiful anniversary cake because I didn't have the energy to go out and get an anniversary cake. I mean, people have called and texted and Facebook messaged over and over and over again, and it has just been remarkable. And so if you've been one of those people, I want to thank you. it means so much to people when they're going through a tough time to know that they are not alone. And so I want to encourage you that if you are in that situation, ask for help. It took me a couple of minutes to ask for help, but once I did, it was so nice to do things and get more hugs and get more well wishes. So you can, keep your sorrows private, but when you share them, they are cut in half. And so that's number 4, is God is so good and God's people are amazing. And so let's talk about God. God's people I talked about. God is amazing. Through this whole journey, I have had a profound, newfound appreciation for trusting in God and then realizing how He is right there beside me, walking with me, talking with me, not with words, but with inclinations of what to do next. And if you're going through a tough time and a time of difficulty, know that you are not alone, that God is right there with you. He just wants you to reach out to Him. He wants you to ask for comfort. He wants you to ask for peace. And when you do, He will just surround you with the most beautiful love and comfort. And God is so good. And so I want to encourage you that if you are going through a tough time, you can be angry with God too. Lord knows, I was angry. And it even got to the point that I said, this is not my plan. I do not like it, and this is not my plan. And what I felt God bringing to me was, you're right, it's not your plan. It's my plan. And it's all being woven together for your good. And boy, I didn't want to hear that, because I would love for things to have gotten better sooner. But we have to follow God's plan, and His timing is better than our timing. So, God is so close, and God's people are amazing. And then the next one I want to share with you is do more of what you love. I already talked about balancing suffering with joy, but really connect with what is it that you love. I have a profound appreciation of Mother Nature now. And whenever I would take long walks, it was like Forrest Gump. I wasn't running, but I was walking. And when I would walk and walk and walk for a long time, I had time to process things. I had time to think about things. I had time to take pictures in nature. And actually, research shows that people that take pictures of nature, actually, it relieves stress and it makes you more content with your life. So, I would highly encourage you to think about what is it that you love and do more of that. And don't feel guilty about it, because, sometimes we can feel guilty that we're not spending as much time doing more for our loved ones. But here's the thing, you have to balance yourself back out and come back to center. So that's another way. Number 6, this is a biggie. Don't waste time with people that you don't like. I feel a little bit bad even saying it. But when we first started this journey, we met with this one guy. His name is Don, and he went through the sick journey with his wife, and she had passed. And he said one of the first things that someone had told him was, don't spend time with people that you don't really enjoy or love, and don't do things that you don't want to do anymore. Oh my gosh, that was so liberating. That was just like mind-boggling for me. And so we've really done that, and we've honored that. Now, some people we've had to be with that were more difficult, because, you have some people like that in your life, but we've been intentional about not spending time and not spending our precious free time with people that really drain us. So we've tried to really don't spend time with some people, and really be intentional about loving people that we're with, and then loving other people from afar who we just can't spend as much time with anymore because we don't have the bandwidth. All right. And number 7 is that gratitude restores us. I've always had a gratitude practice where I was writing down 5 things every day that I was thankful for. Well, I just bumped it up a notch, because the heat came up and then the gratitude came up as well. And really spent time thinking about 10 things every day that I am grateful for. And so an amazing thing happened when I was more grateful even, and that was I started seeing the opportunities to be grateful, and it helped me to see more of those and to not be as angry or as frustrated. It was like I was sort of leveling off instead of always being in contrast and being in opposites. And so it helped me stay more in the center, and it helped me see through the eyes of gratitude, which were new eyes, because there were so many times that I was seeing what doctors were doing wrong, what nurses were doing wrong, what organizations were doing wrong. Especially there was, two different journeys. One was the cancer journey and one was a mental health journey, because I was caregiving actually for two people. And the mental health journey was excruciating, the lack of support, the lack of professionalism, the lack of processes, the lack of science. I mean, it was just one thing after the next. The hits just kept on hitting. And so I really focused on being grateful. And I am so incredibly grateful for the doctors, the surgeons. It's been teams of people that have come in, the angels that have come in. Oh my gosh, there has been remarkable angels that have come in. And so I am choosing to be grateful. I'm also feeling those other feelings. I'm not talking about, just pie in the sky, pretend here. It's real life pain and suffering, and then it's real life gratitude and love. And so the more you can focus on gratitude, the more your body actually deals with stress better. It's just good for your mind, your body, and your soul. All right, so that is the seven ways that you can deal with tough times better. And I'd like to close with this. Life is a wondrous and bittersweet journey. We can't have love and wonder without bitterness as well. We'd like to. I would love to. Some days I just think, oh my gosh, it's just so heavy and it gets so hard. And yet, even through all of it, we have one with the other, the bitter and the sweet. And life is this wondrous journey that we get to be on. And as I've faced the mortality of my loved ones, I have faced my own mortality as well. And so there comes to be a certain amount of peace and actually a greater appreciation for the life that I've been given and the days that we have together. And so I hope that you can see life as a wondrous, bittersweet journey as well. Take the good with the bad, the yin with the yang, it all comes together. But ultimately, this is a life that you have to lead. God is leading you in a direction that is for your good and for your grace. And so we can be at peace. And we have strategies to deal with difficult times. And if you have any questions about this or you want to reach out to me, feel free at ChristineMartinello.com.